is Dayanara, and today I'll be talking about predatory pricing and the antitrust laws. As an overview, I will describe the origins of the antitrust laws and what are the effects of these laws in predatory pricing and other anti-competitive practices. I will also provide you with examples of real cases on predatory pricing here in the US. The foundation of a private economy is constituted by free and open markets. Multiple companies offering the same products and services create competition, which is good for the consumer. How is this competition good for the consumer? Well, this competition creates a nature where businesses must fight back and differentiate from each other to attract buyers, which are usually attracted with low prices. Businesses lowering their prices below competitors or their own cost occurs in many competitive markets. This strategy is usually not illegal if it's a short-term thing. It's part of a bigger marketing strategy. However, if the situation is different, if the final goal of lowering the prices below a competitor's cost is to dominate the market and eventually eliminate competitors, this is what it's called a monopoly. This practice is defined as predatory or below cost pricing, and it violates the antitrust laws, specifically the Chapter 2 of the Sherman Act, Section 2 of the Sherman Act. A monopoly is the exclusive possession or control of the supply or trading a commodity or service. There were several monopolies in the 1800s in the US. The most famous cases are the Andrew Carnegie's Steel Company, the Rockefeller's Oil Company, and the American Tobacco Company. During this period, there were no laws that will prevent a company from becoming a monopoly. The antitrust laws were created to address a concern in consumers who believe were paying high prices on certain essential goods and services. The main antitrust law that remain in effect are the Sherman Act, the Clayton Act, and the Federal Trade Commission Act. Every act targets and prohibits different aspects of anti-competitive practices, such as predatory pricing, allocation of customers, mergers and acquisitions, rigged bids, fixed pricing agreements, etc. The Sherman Act Sherman Act violations can carry high penalties and fines in addition to prison time. The other two acts do not carry any criminal charges. Businesses involved in predatory pricing violate the Section 2 of the Sherman Act. The Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice utilize many tools to investigate and prosecute criminal antitrust activity. The department has agreed with courts in many instances that pricing above average total cost, which is the total cost divided by total output, should be illegal. The Department of Justice also notes that pricing below average total cost does not necessarily mean that a business is practicing predatory pricing. Any claims on predatory pricing should also consider the measurement of incremental cost, which determines the amount of extra costs associated with producing an additional unit. There is not a consensus on the method to use to determine predatory pricing, but the suggested or recommended by the Department of Justice is the average avoidable cost. In addition to all these variables, a case on predatory pricing must consider recoupment, meaning that it must be proven that a company is able to recover its losses after the period of where they were using predatory pricing. Here are some examples of real cases of predatory pricing here in the US. First of all, Walmart, which is the largest retailer here in the US, a Walmart store in Arkansas was found guilty of this practice in 1993, but intentionally selling drugs, health, and beauty products below cost to put drugstores out of business. Walmart paid $300,000 in damages to these drugstores. Another one is the Utah Pie versus Continental Baking Company, which Utah Pie filed a lawsuit against this company, which lowered its prices only in the Salt Lake City area. So that means they were using price discrimination as well. And this was despite rising costs and suffering losses. There was not sufficient evidence on predatory pricing, and the court denied the claim to Utah Pie. The other one is Brook Group. Brook Group was a leader in manufacturing cigarettes in the 1980s and had a generic line that sold for a very low price. Once Brown and Williamson entered the segment, it provoked a price war. Ultimately, the jury found that Brown and Williamson was guilty. So, as a conclusion, we can say that predatory pricing cases are lengthy and can be difficult to prove, as some businesses may only be lowering prices in response to normal competition. On the other hand, if a business is found guilty of these unethical practices, the U.S. law is clear about the consequences, which include high fines and penalties, and in some instances, prison time. The Federal Trade Commission and the U.S. Department of Justice continue to monitor these anti-competitive conducts that could result in hurt to consumers in the form of high prices, lower quality, and fewer goods or services. Thank you.